Hello and welcome to Ludlow Elim Church online. Great to have you with us. My name is Dain, if you don't know me. If you want any information or you want to contact us, our email and our website are in the address below in the description. And we meet 10:30 on a Sunday morning. If you physically want to come and join us, you'd be most welcome. Right. To get into today's kind of message as such, we've been going over the story of Joseph and not kind of just going chapter by chapter, but kind of thinking through a couple of different main themes of his journey and his life. Last week, we started to look at the dreams that were involved in Joseph's life, like the ones that he had, but also Pharaoh and the baker and the cupbearer, and just maybe what lessons we can learn from those dreams and what they might be teaching us for today. Then this week we're going to be looking at dungeons because he did kind of fall into just some bad times for him, and just going to have a look at the lessons that we can learn in that. And then next week we're going to be looking at destiny. Right. This week you were meant to be hearing from Jackie. So what I'm doing is I've got her notes in front of me. And because it didn't work, the recording didn't work, I'm going to read from her notes and we're going to just go over this together. So this might be me kind of looking down, looking up, looking down, looking up. But let's just go through this together. So dungeons. So this whole kind of thing, Joseph, he suffered rejection at the hands of his brothers, and he actually overcame that. And that's quite a really interesting point for us to think about. And then let's also learn the lessons ourselves. So we're going to look at what happened to Joseph, and then what lessons we can apply to our own story and our own life. So we all deal with the effects of jealousy, resentment, being rejected, and the damage it might cause in our lives or in the lives of others or the people that we love. And it can be hard to kind of walk that journey with these kind of brokenness, or with brokenness around us. And Joseph really did have a broken story, didn't he? He was rejected by his brothers, sold into slavery, then into prison, and it's all a bit of a mess of a story. But something that Jackie's put in her notes is Romans 8:28, which is brilliant. I think this kind of frames the whole journey of Joseph. And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him, who are called according to his purpose. And I think Joseph is this really amazing example of, even when things go wrong, even when things are not going right, we can trust that God's got it in control, because that is actually what Joseph does. So let's have a look. Genesis 39 is where, so he's been, Genesis, I think 37 is when his brothers pretend that he's dead, sold him into slavery. We missed 38 because that's all about Judah. And then into chapter 39, where he's in Egypt, he's Potiphar's slave. And yeah, Jackie's highlighted in her notes here. In verse 2, it says, the Lord was with Joseph, so that he prospered, which is really cool. And that in verse 3 of chapter 39 is when his master saw that the Lord was with him and that the Lord gave him success in everything that he did, and Joseph found favor in his eyes, he put him in charge of his house. And it was that kind of thing of God, when we're faithful, God shows his faithfulness in our lives, doesn't he? And you can tell that he was being faithful because of what happened in Potiphar's house. He wasn't going to cheat on Potiphar with his wife. He was like, nothing's hidden from, well, not, I can do anything I want, but you're his wife. I can't touch you. And then she gets a bit annoyed because she wanted whatever she wanted. And gets him thrown into prison. And it's this thing of Joseph is innocent, and he, in all good conscience, has done the right thing. But it just all seems to go wrong. And I don't know about you, that sometimes is the most painful in situations that I've kind of found in life, when when I feel like I've done nothing wrong. I haven't tried to mess this up. I didn't do anything. That can really be hard to kind of bear. So I think those are the times where it really feels like a sucker punch, because he was trying to do the right thing with his brothers. He might have been reflecting on that and kind of going, "Yeah, I did kind of wind them up." But with this, he was being honest, totally upfront, and being honourable to his owner. So yeah, but he still gets put into prison. But while he was in prison, the Lord was with him, verse 21 to 22. And then he showed him kindness and granted him favour in the eyes of the prison warden. And the prison warden puts him in charge of stuff in the prison. So he then goes on to do the dreams. But then he gets forgotten again by the cupbearer. So it's like 2 years he gives this interpretation. He shows the cupbearer what's going to happen. The cupbearer goes and serves Pharaoh again, but he's forgotten. But then 2 years later, then Pharaoh needs an interpreter. And finally, Joseph is remembered. And this is something that I've thought was quite good in Jackie's notes. She's put like he was 17 years old when he was sold into slavery. But he was 30 years old when he finally was released and appointed in charge by Pharaoh. Basically, he's only second in command, only to Pharaoh. So this journey of being the number one son, basically, sold into slavery, put into prison, and then finally out, took 13 years. This 13 years of rejection, feeling injustice, so much injustice in amongst all that. But during all this time, I think from reading between the lines in the verse, I think Joseph really did keep a hold of that trust in God. When it's Pharaoh goes, "Oh, who can you interpret these dreams for me?" He actually says, "No, I can't, but God will give me the wisdom to do it." So it's he trust in God. He really put everything before God. So Jackie then, I think, in her notes again, quotes a brilliant one: Ephesians 4, verses 31 to 32. Get rid of all bitterness, rage and anger, outcry and slander, along with every form of malice. Be kind and tender-hearted to one another, forgiving each other, just as Christ, God, forgave you. So you got Joseph not having a pity party, not having the eyes on himself. He actually decides to commit it to God and trust that he's got it in hand, and holding on to the dream that he was given at the beginning. It's like 13 years of injustice, suffering, and everything like that, but he still held on to what God had said to him. And going back to that verse that we quoted at the beginning, Romans 8:28, we know that all things work together for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purposes. Jackie's put in here some notes from a Bible, a New King James Version, so saying that even in hardships and sufferings, even in bitter disappointments, even when wrongly treated, Christians can know that God will work in such situations to fulfill his good purpose in his children. The situation may or may not be directly changed by God, But even if the situation stays difficult, God guarantees ultimate good results, including maturity of character to those who are called. If we love God, if we trust in Him, we can trust that He will work everything out. And it is that thing of forgiveness is such a big thing. This was such a big journey. We might touch on this like next week in Destiny, but in this whole thing of dungeons, I think Joseph learned that he needed to let go of any pain, disappointment, feelings of injustice, or anything like that. He was trusting God's got it. And I think this last line that Jackie's got is great. It just is the life application for us in this story about the whole time where Joseph has suffered this injustice, suffered this rejection, suffered everything that's gone wrong. The question that we need to ask ourselves is, are we going to let this break us, or are we going to let it make us? So whatever you're facing, if you felt rejected by family, friends, or whatever, or if you felt like you've had injustice, or if you felt that everything's gone wrong and you're in this prison, or if you feel like you can't get out of something, are you going to let it break you, or are you going to let it make you? Are you going to trust God? Are you going to push into everything that He has? Are you going to allow God to work on the stuff in your character that maybe needs working on? Are you going to allow God to really shape you and mold you into the person that He's calling you to be? So that's kind of what I've got from Jackie's notes on dungeons. I hope that's blessed you. I hope that's inspired you to know that whatever happens, God is with us and God is for us, and He's going to work it out. We just need to trust Him. All right. So may God bless you. I don't think I've got anything else to say, so I'm going to hand you over to notices and I'll catch you again. All right. God bless. See you again.